How do you know you're getting screwed by your IT company? Well, in this video, I'm going to share some of the dick moves that IT companies make when they have lost the love for their customer. Hey there, my name is Pete Moriarty, and if you're new to this channel, well, we help small and medium-sized business owners with everything to do with tech, helping you grow more scalable, more productive, and more happy businesses. We are all about helping you get your tech right so you can grow a flourishing business. Now, we're experts in Google Workspace, and we've helped literally thousands of businesses all over the world with everything to do with tech. And if you're not yet working with us, you can jump on to the links down below and access one of our free offers to get access to some free services from our team. Now, this video is a bit of a fun one. We have had many years and supported literally tens of thousands of employees across thousands of businesses in our time in business, which is now over 10 years. And I've seen some pretty interesting things that happen when a customer of ours comes to start working with us or is considering working with us, and their outgoing IT company, their old IT company, it's kind of like an old partner, starts to lose a little bit of love for them. And so I wanted to share a couple of things with you in this video so you have a bit of an eye on what to look out for if your current tech support business has lost the love for you. And some of these are, I would say, a little bit vindictive, but they'd probably give you the idea of what to look out for if you are in business right now and you're just not quite feeling the love from the tech people that are supposed to be supporting you. Now, we've seen a lot change in the technology industry, especially over the last 10 years. Now, in the old days, 10, 15 years ago, we used to sell service to customers and we were a Microsoft house, and everything was really great because we'd sell a $20,000 server and we'd make $10,000 of profit, and those were the good old heydays of IT. Now, a lot has changed in the last 10 years, and when we saw the advent of cloud coming in and everything shifting in the industry, what we decided was, well, instead of us being the taxis, we would prefer to be Uber. And instead of us sticking to the old way of doing IT, which was charging $30 or $40 or $50 per person per month to support businesses, we would switch and instead go to a low-cost service and just do the absolute basics. Basically implement technology that didn't really need IT people to run it anymore, and then we could focus on us actually taking care of more business strategy and helping businesses with productivity. And so that's what our business is all about, and we've built that as our foundation for our business. And now we just get to focus on productivity and helping businesses get more out of their tech rather than fixing servers that are down all day long. Without further ado, let's jump into some of the things that we've seen tech companies do once the relationship has started to break down. First up is locking up your data. Now, this is a pretty scary one because for many businesses that have like a hosted environment or a cloud environment where someone's just reselling a server on Amazon Web Services and you're paying for like desktop access, quite often you're completely at the behest of the tech business that you're working with. And we find that many business owners end up in a state of fear because they are worried about potentially getting cut off from their, getting cut off from their provider and losing access to their data and losing their ability to actually do business. Now, what typically ends up happening is with these online systems, it's actually quite difficult to get your data out because if everything is stored in an online portal or an online app of some sort, it's difficult to actually extract that data. And what we've seen is where we had a particular customer who asked for their data back at the end of the contract. They'd paid out the contract, they'd paid out the agreement. The IT company actually asked for $2,000 for a hard drive export of their data. Now, I know that that's the kind of thing that might take a couple of hours time. Maybe there's a little bit of internet costs and those kind of things in there. At most, that might be like a $300 to $500 job, obviously not including the cost of a hard drive. But to charge $2,000 for that was just an absolute ripoff. And unfortunately, the customer had to pay the penance for that. Now, one of the foundational concepts for us in the way that we do business is that our customers can walk away from us at any time. We don't believe in creating unnecessary lock-ins for our customers because that is the kind of old way of thinking, like how can I hook my customers in so they'll never leave? We set up all of our customer systems so if they want to, they can remove their systems from our management and either go back to direct billing with Google or go back to a direct relationship with the other apps that we're making use of. And that is easy. And what that means is that we have to be good enough that our customers want to do business with us every day. And I think that's a fundamentally very different way of doing business. Now, it's not to say it's not going to be a pain in the ass to, change all your domain names to a different DNS host and those kind of things. That's fair enough. But understanding that we don't want to have any punitive measures put into any of our customers if they decide to no longer work with us anymore, we'd prefer to say, hey, that's cool, let's go our separate ways. Let's move on to the next one. Next dick move, number 2 dick move of IT businesses is actually throttling connections. We've literally seen vendors slow down their customers' connections because customers said they were leaving. Not because they were late, not because they didn't pay a bill, not because they missed something, but just because they said that they were going to leave the business. And so when the internet connection was throttled and slowed down, it actually meant that customers were not able to extract their own data and get their data back. Absolutely crazy. Number 3 dick move is excessive get out fees on contracts. Again, this is kind of like from the old school place of doing business where people would decide, okay, how can I make it as difficult and as mean as possible for you to get out of doing business with me? It's kind of like an abusive partner who says like, all right, well, if you leave me, I'm going to destroy your life in some way. And so effectively, that's what we see in businesses. And so if you're even considering going into a business relationship with anyone, make sure you have a look at what the get out fees might be like so you don't get stung on the way out. Number 4 dick move, and this one is pretty straightforward. We find that once the love has been lost, you end up getting slower support. Responses to tickets, responses to critical events, customer communication all starts to go downhill. Slower responses to emails. And what we find is there's unfortunately some personalities that can get in the mix. And that means that once you've said, hey, I'm not that interested in working with you anymore, all of a sudden you are dropped. No longer a priority and no longer cared for or loved. And this is something that I think business owners who have a lack or a limited mindset really get wrong here. It's really important that you treat someone well on the way out, and that's a fundamental core belief of mine because, it's very possible that that person may stumble across or come back into your realm at some point in time. Maybe if you treat someone well on the way out, there's an opportunity for them to refer someone else to you. If your service was not a fit for the customer that's outgoing, well, maybe they can potentially introduce you to someone else who is a better fit to work with you. So I'm a big believer in not burning bridges in business, and I still have one of our very first customers from when I was 15 years old doing tech consulting in my local neighborhood, which is 17 years ago now. We still have one of those first customers on our books. And so I'm very much a believer in looking after your customers, building long-term relationships. And yes, even if things don't go well and someone decides to finish up doing business with you, still treating them well on the way out. So if you're seeing any of these red flags happening right now, then it might be time to take back more control of your tech. If you'd like help with that, check out some of the other videos on our channel. Make sure you check out the Growth Roadmap, which is our way of sharing with you, no matter what stage of business you're at, how you can make sure you have the right technology implemented to have a successful business. And we even have playlists on our channel so you can check those out. Remember, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. We'd really appreciate it. It's good for us to know what resonates with you and what doesn't. And if you're an existing customer of Google Workspace, well, you might be interested in our transfer in offer. Now, there's a link to that down below, and that gets you access to exclusive benefits from our team for free, which is a pretty amazing offer. You get an online Genius Academy library. It's a Google Classroom, and it's got a bunch of videos to train you and your team on how to get the most out of your investment in Google Workspace. We've got hints and tips and access to a private Facebook group as well, just for those using Google Workspace. We also have, on top of that, access to our team to look into your Google account and do a bit of an audit to see whether or not you've got things set up correctly. If you're interested in that, jump on the link below. It just takes a couple of seconds to fill out and you can get started straight away. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.